I was a graphic design major in college, so I also had a graphic design business. Did you?
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Are you an RV person? Or are you just RV life curious, wondering how people live in a tiny space with their family 24/7? Either way, this is a podcast for you. My name is Kate White, and I travel full-time with my family and 2 kids and the dog in an RV. Every week, I sit down either with a fellow RV woman to discuss why she chose RV life and how she has changed on the road, or with a special guest who speaks on a topic relevant to travel life. Pull a chair up to the fire and let's chat.
Laura Sohn, welcome to the RV Queens podcast. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much
You're
for having
like
me.
a celebrity right now.
Me?
With your glasses on. It's like Lady Gaga's in the house.
Only got the sun right on us.
Yes, I love it so much. So I'm just going to start off by saying this is my first in-person interview.
Really? Oh, I get to be the first one?
I've recorded with my husband before.
Yeah.
So you're the first one that just gets to be in my bubble right here. And we're like just sitting really close.
This is
and
awesome.
you seem totally fine with it. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I'm a very huggy person. I have no
We could
issues
just do
being up
this.
close.
We could just hug the whole episode.
Oh, that would be
And,
so. That would
be
make it so
BFFs by
cozy.
the end.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. I mentioned this to you before, but I met you once about a year ago or so, and then you put on a women's night in Orlando for the full-time women around. And you're like sparkling personality, and you seem to be one of those women that like just attracts a lot of interesting, fun people. So I wanted to have you on the podcast. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Okay, so I like to start interviews with where you were before RV life. And I know you guys have been full-time RVing for over 6 years, right?
It'll be 7 years in June.
Okay, wow. That's a long
Yeah.
time. I mean, if you can even remember back to the days.
I do remember.
Tell us what your life was like. Where did you live? Were you working? Were you at home with kids? Like,
Yeah, so
What was your life
we
like?
were in Missouri, outside of St. Louis. So when my oldest was a baby, she's 14 now, but when I was pregnant with her, that was back when they had the whole market crash of 2008 and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And we lost our house
Oh, shoot.
because my husband's income was drastically cut in half. She was 3 months old, and we stayed in this crappy little condo for a while. And then we were like, okay, we need to figure things out and prepare for something like this again.
Yeah.
So my husband was in sales at the time, so he started nursing school.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
he went to nursing school while I started a photography business. Totally out of nowhere. I had a good camera and that was it. Never even took a photography class. I'm like, I need
You're like,
money.
I can probably do this.
What can I do? I did it though. It was crazy. I can't believe it worked out.
I love
I just started emailing everybody like in my contacts, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm starting a business.
Good for you.
Will you
That's
be
awesome.
a client to practice on, and that's kind of how I started it. And it pretty successful, but it was a lot of work. It was
Yeah.
editing till 2 a.m. and
Yes.
just so much work. And then my husband was doing his job plus going to nursing school. And then on top of that, I decided to start my doTERRA business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
between the two of us, we had like 5 major things going on.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then babies. And then we had another baby and it was kind of
5
crazy.
major things outside of kids.
Yes. And then
a lot.
we just got kind of exhausted and wore out from that. And
Yeah.
then thankfully my doTERRA business really took off and I was able to leave my other 2 jobs. And then Joe was actually able to, by then he was working as a nurse at a hospital. So we were so excited. And to celebrate that, we rented an RV.
Oh, okay.
So we took a
Nice.
3-week trip with the RV and we just fell in love with it. Just being so close together and us all together every day. And
What kind of RV did you rent?
I guess it was considered a Class B. It was like
And you took the kids?
yes,
Like
they were
a-
so little
so you
at
went
the
in the
time.
little
They were like
van
3
life, and you loved it?
6
Wow,
or whatever.
that's intense.
3 and 5. Yeah, well, it wasn't quite a van. It was kind of like in between. It was a RV that had the back slid out. So it had a bedroom in the back where it slid out. And then the girls slept on a fold out couch.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad. I think it was like 20, I don't know. I have to ask Joe. He would remember better. But it's around 20 feet or something like
Okay.
that. So it wasn't too bad for a 3-week trip. It wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah.
But we just kind of did a loop, went west, just fell in love with it. And we had also just so happened to sell our house right before that. And we were renting a house thinking we were going to look for property to build.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, we got back from that trip, and a
this.
couple months later I came home and I was like, hey, Joe, what do you think about just getting an RV and living in it for a while?
And he was down?
Yeah, immediately he said yes. Like he was like, yes,
Whoa,
like right away. Because we
nice.
talked about doing it later just because we loved it so much, you know, like when we retire and stuff like that. But we had that year lease on that house. So we took that time to like pick out, and we did a good job. We researched it, and we were still in the same RV. So
You are?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we
amazing.
are now considering upgrading just for more space for the girls because my oldest is 14 now and my other one is 11 and they just need more room.
Yeah.
But because we're in a Class
What is
A.
the model? You're a Class A. Does it have like does it have the bunks?
Yes,
or
it
what?
has bunks in the hallway. So it's a Fleetwood Terra.
Okay.
And it has bunks in the hallway and we love it. I still love it. I don't want to get rid of it, but it's mostly for them to have more space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, so we took that time, we moved into the RV, and we only were going to do it for a year and a half. That was our plan.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, it was just going to be a trip, and then we'll come back and find that property and build a house. And we did come back after a year and a half.
Yeah?
And we rented a house, and we hated it so much that we got out of that lease and moved back into the RV.
Wow. So what did your family say when you guys just kind of like made this decision?
It was a mix. You know, they were sad. They didn't want us to leave, but I don't think it was very surprising to them.
Okay.
I've always been kind of like all over the place with big ideas and doing crazy stuff, maybe. So
Okay.
I don't think they were too shocked by it.
I'm going to become a photographer.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, there's the bird.
Starring in the show.
Yay.
For the audience, we are secretly hoping they'll start making their mating calls.
Their dinosaur sounds.
During the episode. So we'll see if that pans out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about doTERRA. How did you get into this? Why did you become passionate enough about it to like build a successful business? What's going on with that?
That was a complete and total accident.
Okay.
I had I don't know, MLMs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anytime I get invited to one of the parties, I'm like,
I know where this is going.
no interest in that whatsoever. And in fact, when I started using them, I had nothing to do with the business for until a year later.
Okay.
The person who enrolled me wasn't they were kind of doing it as a business, but not really. And I was very sick. I had a superbug bacterial infection going on at the time, and
yikes.
nursing. I was nursing my youngest still, so I didn't really want to take those antibiotics, and cold turkey stopped nursing her all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine who just suggested I try them. Yeah, it helped support my body so it could do its thing, so it could get rid of the infection and everything. And I didn't have to take any antibiotics or anything. And my husband being a nurse, he was pretty blown away by that.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, whoa.
We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So I just started using all the oils and loving them. And I don't know, 6 months in or so, I started trying the supplements, the vitamins and stuff. And then that completely changed my life and everything about my health. So it just started with me saying, oh my gosh, Mom, you need to try these vitamins. They are helping me so much. And then same with my sister and same with my friends. And then they started trying them. And then they told their friends about it. And that's really how it kind of blew up from there.
Yes.
And then I started seeing I'd get a check randomly. And I'm the first one, I was thinking it was a refund for something. I wasn't even sure. And then I just looked into it more and the business model, and I thought, maybe I'll just go for it because I feel like I could really help people.
Yeah.
And just especially moms. I was really passionate and still am about just helping moms support their kids better and their family better, and having just tools, easy access right in there. That was amazing for me, and to get to help other moms do that was pretty
How did
amazing.
that go during COVID? Did you have any secret weapons? Because everyone's stuck inside all the time.
Well,
and,
especially at first, because people really wanted to support their immune system and everything, so of course I have to be compliant from FDA, and can't make
should
any...
I not ask you that?
No, you can. I can't make any
official
statements about what the oils can do, but I can tell you they will support your body, so your body can do its own thing too.
Got it. Yeah.
But yes, they're amazing for all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
So there was one, I can't remember if it's an essential oil or what. Silver?
Yeah, like colloidal silver.
Is that yes?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Is that
That's a thing.
essential
No, it's not essential oil. It's
okay.
colloidal silver. But yeah, that's an
can see
amazing
how much I
immune
know about
support
this
as
stuff.
well. Yes. Yes, we've been using colloidal silver longer than oils.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
How do I not know about these things? Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have to dive
We'll have
into
a whole
that
other discussion.
offline.
Yes.
Get your official recommendations offline.
Yes.
Okay, well, you've been traveling for 6 years. You have to tell me your homeschool approach, because especially now that you've gone through like tween and you're getting into teen years,
Yeah.
has it changed over time? Have you been doing like, the same curriculum and you love it, or what's your approach there?
It's changed drastically. So like when we first started, it was workbooks. They were little, so we're just using workbooks and going through them and everything. And then, in fact, my husband was actually the one doing all the homeschooling for the first few years, because he wasn't working for our first 4 years on the road. And then once he started working, then we kind of transitioned to both of us helping them with it. But me and math, not friends.
Yes, I know. Oh
we had a math incident today, and actually, and Joe had to kind of take a break I had to sneak back and be like, if you have a minute, we could really use your help.
Oh my gosh.
But once we kind of got to that point where I was having he was working more and I was having a harder time keeping up with that kind of stuff. As far as the math, especially, I started researching online options, and we found Power Homeschool.
Okay.
So we are using Power Homeschool now, and we love it. We love it. This is our first year.
Is it all the subjects or just?
No, I'm
math?
sorry. Our first full year we just did last year, so we're into our second year. All the subjects and electives, and it's been amazing because my oldest loves anything to do with coding and animation and stuff like that. So she was able to take coding electives, which was very helpful because I was trying to buy her programs and do all these things, and it just things weren't clicking, so she wasn't able to excel with it. And then once she was able to do those electives through Power Homeschool, it just helped her learn all these fundamental stuff that now she's able to kind of learn a lot on her own, and she's gone
amazing.
She's gone crazy.
Don't you love that when it's self-motivated?
Yeah. And I was trying. She was so self-motivated with it before, and I was trying to help her with the tools, but I don't know anything about coding.
No.
I was a graphic design major in college, so I also had a graphic design business.
Did you? You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
So before I started my photography business, I was working as a graphic designer.
Lends itself well to a photography
Absolutely.
business.
I could do all my own design work and graphics, and I already knew Photoshop really well, so I could all do all my editing.
And you could probably handle making your own website easier than some
templates and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'd never learned coding or anything like that. So so I wasn't able to really help her as much as I wanted to. And then once it was great once we figured out all that stuff with the homeschooling.
So do you think she gets some of her leaning towards animation and stuff from your design? Does she also have a design eye in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's so she does a lot of illustrating, comic books and stuff like that, and she's gotten super into illustrating characters and making comics and just making stories and stuff like that. And then she's recently, in the last few months, started animating them and learning more about that, and that's been pretty cool to see.
Oh my gosh, I love it. What about your younger, is it daughter?
Yes,
younger
Nora.
daughter.
Nora is one of I'm sure she'll figure it out. She's only 11, but she's very much just wants to play with her friends, and she gets super bored easily if she doesn't have someone to help entertain her, like another friend or us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she has interests, but they're all just play interests right now,
social.
Playing and social. Yes.
Yeah. That's a gift.
Yeah.
Because not everyone wants to be social all the time.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things she could do with that.
Yeah.
Like party plan.
Yeah.
I asked you the other night if you were an event planner, because I'm you just got 25 women together and planned out this whole evening and transportation and blah, blah, blah. And
I love event planning. I've never done it as a living. I did a lot of it with doTERRA when we were home before we moved into the RV. We would have events.
Yeah.
And big classes and stuff like that. We did a lot of that. And even still, I go back home twice a year. We have a big yearly events that we do. Our spring social we do every spring. And,
wow.
We usually have something in the fall. We had a big holiday party. So I still do that stuff. But I just love getting together with women and having big parties and
I mean,
having
it's
fun.
the most
It's
fun.
one of my favorite
Yes,
things to
it
do.
is so good. A lot of people, and I'm assuming they ask you this because I'm only about a year in, and they asked me this about like finding friends and community on the road. A lot of full-time families are like Thousand Trails people and part of the full-time families membership group and all that. Is that what you guys do too, or what's your approach to finding friends?
Definitely through Thousand Trails, full-time families.
Mm-hmm.
We were our first year and a half on the road. We didn't meet a lot of families. It wasn't as big then as it is now.
Yeah.
It's so different now.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we went so long without even meeting another family our first year on the road.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't know about full-time families yet either. And even though full-time families did exist, it wasn't near as big as it is now.
Yeah.
So our first family we met, I remember we were in Oregon and we were at a park and we'd met other families camping, but not that lived on the road.
Yeah.
And then we kind of saw this other family down the road and their kids kept running around and we were peeking at them and they were peeking at us. And then we finally went out in the street and we're like, hey, do you do this full time? And we're like, yeah. And it was so awesome. We spent every day together from there on for like a week.
Yeah.
Because we were the first family they'd met too. That was really exciting. And then our second family we met a few months after that. And then we learned about full-time families and we went to our first rally like a year in, I think. And we met a ton of families then. And we only do one rally a year now through full-time families.
Yeah.
Usually. But because we have a pretty good network now. But it's still so important to meet new friends because not everybody stays on the road.
Right.
And if you stick with your same friends and they start, moving back into houses, then you don't have any friends anymore.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, since you've been traveling so long, I have a set of rapid fire questions for you.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Get excited. Do you need to mop up your sweat from nervousness?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just a little paper towel for my armpits.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll do that too. It's kind of warm in here. Oh, that'd be cute. Okay, first question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best campground in the United States?
The best campground in the United States?
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favorites is Mount Hood Encore Park in Oregon.
That? Okay.
Near Mount
Oregon.
Hood, the mountain.
Never been there.
Oh, that's probably one of our favorite RV parks. And it's not necessarily just because of the RV park itself, even though it is fantastic. It's the area.
Yeah.
And all the hiking around there and adventuring. And it's not too far from the ocean, but it's more in the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be, that area is amazing.
The one. What's your favorite state?
Oregon.
Makes sense.
More just because of how beautiful it is and
Yeah.
the hiking and all the stuff to do there.
I think it's cool that you have access to beach and mountains.
Yes.
Up in that
Yeah.
area. Yeah. What's the worst state?
Illinois. And I have never even camped there. We won't camp there.
Is there a story behind this?
I'm from Missouri. We were right next to Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff I don't like about Illinois. We won't make this all about Illinois, but yeah, that would be my least favorite state.
I also grew up in Missouri, and I have a strong bias against Kansas.
Really?
I'm just I just get this feeling that's ugh.
It kind of feels that way when you're driving through it, though, because it's so flat and long and boring.
I don't even know why. It's in my subconscious, somewhere in my childhood, it's gross. But my husband grew up in Nebraska, and he feels that way about Iowa.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's whatever. And you feel that way about Illinois. So all the Midwest states are
Ew.
about each other. Okay, what is the best outdoor adventure you've had with your kids?
Probably one of my favorite times. It's always hiking. I love hiking with them. And one of my favorite hikes we ever did was in the Black Hills in South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Black Elk Peak or something. It was a very rigorous hike that we took up to the highest point in the Black Hills, and you had a 360-degree view all around.
Mm-hmm.
We had lunch up there. That was probably one of my favorite outdoor things we've done, off the top of my head.
Was it your favorite because it was so challenging, and then you felt like there was a reward at the end, or what
I think it was the whole day overall. We were with some good friends. In fact, it was the family was the first family we ever met in Oregon. So we had met back up with them in South Dakota, and their kids are awesome, and our kids get along with them so good. And it was just so fun. Like, it was very challenging, and it was hard work for all of us. We made it though to the top, and we got to sit up there and enjoy the view for a long time and have our lunch. And then it was probably, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 hours it took us to do this.
Oh my gosh.
Well, getting up there and then coming back down and hanging out, the whole thing.
Noted. We're going to head there this summer, so.
Are you? We will be there again this summer.
Really?
When are you guys going? We can talk about that later.
Yeah. I can't tell the internet when I'm going to be at
I know, as soon as I asked that, I was like, oh, let's talk about that later.
Okay, what is the worst outdoor adventure you've had with your kids?
The thing that comes first to my mind is in Florida, probably anything to do with those stupid sand gnats. So there's like...
Oh, the no-see-ums?
The no-see-ums, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of the park. I just remember we couldn't even go outside, and we were all getting eaten alive.
It's so painful, and you don't see it coming.
No, we didn't even know. We didn't even know what they were till then.
It's like a silent. I mean, they don't kill you, but it feels like a silent.
You don't feel
killer.
them.
You're just like, oh my god, what is wrong?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're just in pain and little dots all over you.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what they were, and we went to this park. We have not been back to this park, by the way, in the many years since.
I don't blame you, because that is painful, and also the locals all think you're so dumb. And if you've never experienced it before, and this is me speaking from experience, it is like, me and my husband went to this resort on our 10-year anniversary a few years ago, and we went out for like a sunset walk.
Oh, that's like the worst time.
I know. Now I know. And we're like, oh, it's so, it's like so romantic, and no one else is out here, and trying to be all lovey-dovey, and then it was just like, ow, 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 like super pain. And we went back to like, the desk person at the front desk person, and we were like, do you have some kind of like bugs or something we're so dumb. And they were like, yeah, you don't go by the water after sundown. I'm like, now you tell us.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I should have had an email.
Have you tried the Thermacell things?
No.
So those are kind of amazing for them. Those work really well. Yeah, Thermacell.
Is it a spray?
No, they're these little contraptions, and you just set it out. You turn it on, set it out maybe like 15 to 20 minutes before you want to hang out outside. It emits this like stuff in the air that keeps them away. And I don't know how natural they are, but this is the one time where I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to
I need the chemicals.
Get eaten alive by the nose. They don't really spray anything on you. It's just something that kind of puts in the air. It's supposed to be like a some kind of fake chamomile thing, but I really don't remember exactly what it is. But some guy told us about it while we were there at that park.
Thermacell.
They were not swarming around his head at the pool, but they were swarming around everybody else's. So we got one right away, and now we keep them. They help with mosquitoes too, but they're really good with the no-see-ums.
Okay, no more citronella candles. We gotta look.
Those
for
don't work
Thermacell
for the no-see-ums. Nothing does.
Yeah. See this citronella candle sitting right here?
Yeah, that doesn't help. Get the Thermacells.
I love this question, and I feel like you're going to have a good answer to this. What is one thing you can't live without in your RV?
I'll tell you my newest fun thing. I just got an instant hot water thing. So I forgot what you call it. It's an instant hot water dispenser. So it's a little instant hot water thing that we hooked up underneath the sink. And we put in a little spout for it in the sink.
Wow.
So it's like, your regular faucet. And then right next to it, we have like this little tiny faucet. And you just put your mug right underneath it, push the button, and it's instant, almost boiling water that comes out.
Oh my gosh.
So instant tea, instant coffee. It's been like life-changing. I use it like twice a day now.
That is amazing. I've never heard of that.
You have to come look at it.
I've seen people do like, the regular, it's like drinking water spout.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you ever had someone think it's just drinking water and then they...
No, because our regular faucet is really big. And we haven't had it that long yet, so maybe it could still happen. But it's like really tiny, and it's like a little button. It's just like a little mini.
You gotta know what you're doing.
The camera's up here, but a little mini thing, and then you just put your mug up to it, and push the button.
Cute. That's amazing. I've never heard of that.
And of course, the Instapot and Blackstone and cooking stuff. But
yeah. Are you into the air fryers?
We do have an air fryer. We don't use it a ton.
We don't have an air fryer yet, but when we were back home for the holidays, my in-laws have one.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I'm living without one right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because over the holidays, we used it like 4 times a day. It's like so fast.
We got one of those
Amazing.
Ninja all-in-one. It's like a air fryer oven.
Oh, yeah.
Does all the things.
Do you use it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. We built a whole special cabinet for it just to store
Oh,
it in.
yeah. You gotta.
No, it takes up a lot of room.
It does take up a lot of
And you don't have
space.
enough counter space. So.
No. Do you have a countertop water filter thing?
A Berkey.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
And those take up a lot of space,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
You must have a lot of counter space.
No, I don't. But it's kind of cool the way my kitchen sink is. It kind of comes out a little bit and goes to an angle. So it's just enough room to set the Berkey right
Okay.
behind the sink. So I don't have to move it ever. I can pull out the faucet and fill it. And
Yeah.
that makes it a lot easier.
Those are nice.
We had a
the
bigger
canister
one.
is so big.
Yeah.
And like we don't have a Berkey. Our water thing is, it gives you like, how many quarts is this? Something like this.
Yeah.
It's not very many, and we have to refill that thing all the time.
We also have that clear source system too that you install.
I've heard a lot of people have
That's
that.
nice because it does the whole RV, like shower water.
Is the Berkey just to make sure, like, get the minerals out of the water?
Oh no! Well, the Berkey
clear
won't get the
source?
minerals out. So I've had a Berkey since way before we moved into the RV,
Oh, okay.
and I've always loved my Berkey. But we kind of thought it'd be nice to get a clear source instead to filter all the water, and then not to have to deal with the Berkey anymore.
Mhm.
But so funny story. I used to get kidney stones all the time,
Oh.
and
That
they
is-
went away actually once I started using all the DoTerra stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then but there's a lot of stuff I started changing at that time, like
Okay.
got my Berkey, like all kinds of things. So I don't know exactly what helped it, but
Yep.
whenever we got the clear source system last year, we got rid of the Berkey for a little while, and like within 6 months or so, I got a kidney stone. And I was like, I could be total coincidence, but I'm bringing my Berkey back. So now we use both.
You just gave a little testimonial for Berkey.
Yeah.
Your water cured my kidney stone.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it has a lot to do with, I've heard
my
it has a
gosh.
lot to do with your drinking water and stuff, when people get them.
I'm sorry you went through that. But
Yeah.
that is
I think it's kind of
fascinating
hereditary
story.
too. My dad gets them all the time
Oh,
and still
boy.
does.
Eesh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're not fun.
That doesn't sound like it. I don't think I
Mm-mm.
like that. Okay, last rapid fire question.
Okay.
I keep interrupting my own rapid fires, but if you have to stop traveling today and settle down, where would you settle down?
It would be in Missouri.
Really?
Not because we love Missouri, but just because that's where our family
Family.
is. And
Yeah.
I'm very close with my mom and sisters. And
Okay.
yeah.
Would you buy land like you were going to do before and build something? Would you still RV?
I'm not
rent,
sure. So my
buy a
parents
house?
bought property a couple years ago, and they put a full hookup RV site on their property.
Oh.
So that's where we go now when we go visit.
That's
So
awesome.
we'll probably at first we'd probably just go there.
Yeah.
And
Moosh stack a little
hang
bit.
out for a while.
I'll pay the electric.
Yeah. Yeah. You got labor with us. We'll work for you.
Yeah,
You know?
that's right. Give you some essential oils,
Yeah.
supplements. I have a couple more questions for you before I ask you to tell us where people can connect with you online. Whenever you think back to Laura before RV life and Laura now, what has changed?
Maybe the biggest thing that has changed about me is that I just know myself so much better, and I have a lot more confidence in myself just because of all the experiences we've had, and just seeing more of the world and just how little we really are in it and everything, but also how connected everybody is and everything. I have so many more good, close friendships than I did. Not that I didn't have great friendships back home, but just so many now from all different walks of life and different backgrounds and everything. So I feel like it's just been so empowering to like get to know yourself better through getting to know other people better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like
totally.
that's been just such an amazing thing that I didn't really anticipate. And that has definitely changed me as a person. People need community. And that was something that people are just moving further and further away from outside of RV life.
Yeah.
I know we were, like, you barely know your neighbors.
Yeah.
I think we had dinner maybe a couple times with some of the neighbors, but that's about it. And now we have dinner, gosh, when we're here at this park, it's like constantly
Insane.
with everybody trying to like figure it out. But it's just, I don't know, it's just so different. And it's just, I feel like that was one of the reasons why when we did go back to a house, that I was not loving it because everybody was so busy and everybody was in their routines and their kids were in sports all the time. And we came back and we were not. and just
Yeah.
missing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's interesting because, at least in my experience, like life slows down when you're on the road. But some days it feels like are just as busy, but like in a good way. Like it's not like a stressed busy.
I think
to
it's
me.
more spontaneous busy.
Yeah.
It's like doing what you want in the
Yeah,
moment.
that's right.
And I'm very much, for me, that's a good thing because I don't like a schedule and I don't like having having to commit to things weeks in advance.
Yes.
Because I might get there and not want to do it anymore. That happens all the time. So for me to be able to wake up and be like, what do I feel like doing today? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of this life.
I know.
Besides the booking now, since thanks to everybody else who's gotten on the road, I have to plan out everything so much further in advance as far as booking places.
My gosh,
but
I know. Someone was trying to nail me down for something in the fall the other day, and I was like, are you kidding me? It's like February. I don't know.
I do have our route scheduled all the way through next winter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
But what do you do if you like you just said?
Yeah.
You commit to something,
we've changed plans and pivoted, but I like to have a plan. It's easier to coordinate with other people to get friends to travel with if you have a plan.
Yes.
And it's hard. Some of the nicer parks that you want to go to, you can't book those out a month or two in advance anymore. You have to book them out further in advance.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
See, this is your wisdom of living on the road for 6 years. I'm like, it'll be fine.
Oh, you used to be able to do that more, and you will be fine, but it might be a really crappy RV park that you're stuck at with no friends.
Oh my gosh, yes. All right. Last question. The slogan for this show is a podcast about unexpected riches. So what would you say is the unexpected richness of RV life?
I feel like we just talked about that, right?
Okay.
I feel like that would be the exact same answer that I was just talking about. Just the community and friendships. That was huge.
Yeah.
It's still huge.
Yeah.
It would be the thing that would make it so hard to get off the road.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, can you tell listeners where they can connect with you online?
Well, my Instagram is at Sohnshine Adventures. So my last name is Sohn, Sohn. So Sohnshine Adventures.
Perfect.
And yeah.
Instagram's where it's at.
That's where I'm usually. I don't post a ton. I do intermittently when I'm just sporadic.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Yes.
It's a challenge on there. You got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being my guest today. I had a ton of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, birds.
They're gone now. I was really hoping they would make their noise.
Too.
Can you do it? Try making that noise.
I will if you will.
Okay, you go first though.
I was thinking we could do it at the same time.
Okay.
All right.
You ready? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3.
I think that was exactly it. We made the exact same sound.
I think so. You need to find a clip and play it.
Right. I'll get my editor on that.
Yeah.
Right away. Find a clip of, what are they even called? Florida crane? Something?
It's sand cranes.
Florida sand cranes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. And I usually say, hopefully I'll see you on the road, but I am seeing you on the road.
We are on the road together right now.
Glad to see you on the road.
Yeah, happy to see you on the road.
All right.
Many more times of seeing each other on the road.
Yes, I hope so.
All right, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for being my favorite part of RV life. If you could please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, that would be awesome. And listen, if you want to have conversations like I had on this episode with your fellow RV women, head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community and choose your RV Queen Circle today. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, or hopefully I will see you on the road.